Guys, the bot builder's back, and welcome to the Robot Wars Omega, the World Championships. And this is the grand final. Yes, over the past 3 weeks, we've whittled the field. We've whittled the international field of 32 all the way down to 8, and by the end, it will be whittled down to 1, the World Champion. But before we get into it, let's just see how all the robots have got here thus far. Yes, we started off with 32, but now we are only down to 8. 8 different countries remain in this, the World Championships, all from 4 different continents. Why not let's have a meet and see how they got this far? First off is Deathroll, flying the flag of Australia. In their first round, they absolutely trashed the fish Philippa 2 from Belgium, destroying them before sending them out the arena, before taking out Tubecal in one of the quickest fights in Robot Wars Omega history. This machine is an Annihilator Champion and they're seeded 16 for Series 2. Can they add another trophy to that cabinet? New Boys Minotaur from Brazil look impressive. In their first round, they absolutely destroyed Supernova, eliminating them by pushing them through the wall, before taking out Nexus in one of the closest judges' decisions. Nexus may have gotten control, but Minotaur won on damage and aggression to get the win. Diot from Ireland has impressed everybody, taking out Scarab from Argentina in very quick succession, before pulling off an upset, taking out Apollo after throwing them all over the arena. Possibly the fan favourites Rapid from England, the reigning champions, look very impressive. In their first round, they fought Red Bull in a very good close flipper fight, before showing no mercy to PP3D from Scotland, sending them out the arena. They are the reigning champions, and they want to add the World Championships to their list of accolades. Underdogs Head-On Collision from Sweden look very impressive. Their good speed and pushing power. In their first round, they bullied Mechaniac before bullying another big flipper in GP, ripping off their wheel and pushing them down the pit. Endgame from New Zealand looked very impressive, eliminating the South Korean Tombstone Orby Blade before beating Killer Queen in one of the quickest fights in the tournament. That vertical spin is impressive. This machine is one that scares me. World Champions Gravity have shown no mercy and have shown why they are the World Champions. Not only did they take out Lucky, but they also took out Cheese too, flipping them both out the arena in the exact same position. They've also been known to get many quick knockouts. Can they make it a double World Championship win? And we also have the unbeaten streak of Whiplash. This machine has had an unbeaten streak ever since it debuted in the Robot Wars Omega US Championships. That's been continuing. This is a US champion and the champion of champions champion. And now they want to win the World Championship. And they've been very impressive, taking out the German champ Black Hole in quick succession, before bullying Bolt, trashing them, before sending them out of the arena. These are the World Championship Grand Finalists. And whoa boy, it certainly is going to be one international Grand Final. But I think you're wondering, how do these machines line up? Well, in the first round, in the first fight of the final 8, we'll be seeing Deathroll from Australia take on Minotaur from Brazil in a BattleBots rematch. We'll then have a flipper fight between Diot from Ireland taking on Rapids from England, the reigning champions. Underdogs Head-On Collision from Sweden will be test their might against the Kiwi killer Endgame from New Zealand. And then to wrap up the round of 8, the reigning world champions Gravity will be taking on the US champs Deathroll in the Netherlands USA clash. From Australia, Deathroll. From Brazil, Minotaur. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs to kick off the final 8, it's Growler and Rhino. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Oh, what a battle this should be. This is a BattleBots rematch, no less. And already, Deathroll coming with a great uppercut in onto Minotaur, but Minotaur coming with a good hit onto Deathroll, knocking him up and over, but the Crocodile does get back up. And they are having that spinning blade, and Minotaur gets knocked away just then by Deathroll, but Minotaur coming with that big drum right there. I mean, we've seen big drum spinners before, like Carnival, but oh my god! Minotaur's done it! Minotaur's done it! They just sent Rapid out the arena! I was going to say, we've seen big drum spinners before, like we've seen Carnival be successful, but we haven't seen one as successful as this, and Minotaur has just eliminated Deathroll! And Deathroll are gone, they're out the arena, I don't believe it! I have my money on them! Oh, they're causing damage to Rhino! Oh my word, that's such a shame! And Minotaur, they're going after the house robots! Oh my god, they've knocked Growler up and over! And now they're doing the same to... Oh my god! They just sent Rhino out the arena! My god, this small Brazilian bull is one mean machine! And not only did they send Deathroll out the arena, they sent Rhino out as well! Cease. Oh, that's such a shame! That is such a shame! My money was on Deathroll. I thought Deathroll could have won this entire thing. They had a big spinner, they looked mean, they looked merciless, and well, I thought they would take down Minotaur yet again, but no. Minotaur got them with the drum and sent the Croc out, and they march on to the semi-finals. From England, Rapid. From Ireland, Diot. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs, hoping to not get bullied, unlike their Rhino and Dog friends, it's Virus and Matilda. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Well, we've already had a major shock in seeing Deathroll go out. Will we see another? Will we see the reigning champions lose out to Diot? Well, Diot already being flipped up and over by Rapid. Oh, and they did the pit already! What is going on with this episode? Another quick fight, and Matilda trying to come with a flipping tusk. Rapid aboard! That was boring! Diot, they self-right back out the pit! That isn't allowed. I know the fight was quick, Diot, I'm sorry, but your country's out. Ireland are out. And that was over very quickly. Rapid, they're just dealing with Matilda. And Diot, oh, well, oh! Come on, if we're going to have a quick fight, let's just have a bit of fun with the furball. We don't want another quick, boring fight. Go on. Place him on the drop zone, Matilda. Yes, Diot being put on the drop zone, and I do wonder what is going to drop. And... oh, it's Apollo! What is Apollo doing here? Apollo is self-right, and now, what is going on? Oh, they flipped Diot out of here. God, what on earth is going on? No, Apollo, you're not meant to be here. Apollo's just flipped Rapid out. Oh, yeah, and then they're down the pit. Yeah, right. But Virus, you did absolutely nothing in that fight as well. What was that? Cease. Well, that was odd. That has to be one of the most unexpected moments, though. Apollo comes down from the drop zone and then flips both Diot and Rapid out. So doesn't that mean that Apollo will be going into semi-finals? No, it doesn't. Fuck off, Apollo. Rapid, though, they were the winners. And they go through to the semi-finals. I have no clue what happened. Maybe Virus spiked my drink or something. From Sweden, head-on collision. From New Zealand, Endgame. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs, we have the ramming horn and the grabbing claws. It's Rhino and Virus. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Hopefully we can get a normal fight this time. The last two fights were very quick, and already head-on collision. getting straight in underneath Endgame and slamming them into the wall. Well, that was a very good attack, wasn't it? Head-on collision, though, riding up the top of Endgame, but they do seem to be the lower machine, and they're pushing and slammed Endgame into the arena wall. As I've said already, I like head-on collision. I feel they could be a dark horse, but Endgame are one of my favourites to win this. They have an awesome spinner, and they've totally come in with a good hit, and they've sent them out the arena too. What is going on with this episode? Virus, you really don't want to get your head stuck in there. Endgame, another quick fight. Why have these battles been so quick? I just want one good, normal, regular paced fight. This is the grand final. Well, it feels like everyone's having a running race to get the quickest elimination of the episode. Well, Endgame, you failed in that regard, but it was a good attempt. Cease. Wow, that's another quick fight, and that was kind of disappointing. I was hoping to have a very good, close, fast-paced fight. Both machines struggling to get in with the ground clearance, but no. Endgame came in, got the sides, and chucked head-on collision out of here. Well done to them. They go through to the semi-finals for New Zealand. From the Netherlands, Gravity. From the United States of America, Whiplash. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs, they're probably just as pissed off as I am by the fact we keep getting short fights. It's Rhino and Virus. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. No. Oh. No. Activate. Sorry about that, I clicked the one that doesn't go for 3 minutes. Nothing to worry about. And Gravity already comes with a great flip onto Whiplash there. And that was a good flip, but Whiplash coming with a good hit with their vertical spinner. Gravity trying to come with a good flip there and onto Whiplash. Whiplash being flipped up and over. And Gravity certainly throwing Whiplash around, but this is what we call a very good fight and the perfect way to end off the round of 8. Hopefully with a good fight as well. Both Whiplash and Gravity have a lot of pedigree behind them. Gravity, we haven't seen it on camera, but off camera, they, as I said many times already this special, they are the world champions. But Whiplash, obviously, they have one hell of an unbeaten streak that hasn't been broken yet, but maybe Gravity will be the one to break it with their big, strong flipper. Well, Whiplash already being flipped up and over by Gravity. Gravity flipping Whiplash up and over. Virus has lost his head. Virus has lost his head. Virus, are you? Maybe that's from the Endgame fight. I don't know. They did seem to get their head quite stuck in there. Virus flipping Whiplash up and over, but he's got no head. He's got no head, and oh, Whiplash trying to come cause some good damage to the head. Gravity flipping Whiplash up and over. This is by far the best fight in the round of 8 so far, but that's not really saying much. Gravity though still trying to come with their good flip right down onto Whiplash, and again Whiplash though are getting in onto these Gravity and lifting them up and over. And Gravity have been flipped, but they do self-right. And another good flip there, that was. In onto Whiplash. Whiplash, though, still trying to come with their spinner. And that was a good hit right there. In onto Gravity. Gravity, though, they are in trouble. Virus trying to come with some more good flips. Gravity, get that head out of here. Yeah, damn said. Damn straight. Gravity, though, flipping Whiplash up and over. And again, Whiplash now being thrown around by Gravity. And another good flip. Whiplash do get back down though, and another good hit from that vertical spinner in onto Whiplash. Whiplash though, Whiplash and Gravity. See, this is a very fast, frantic, frenetic stuff here. Gravity though, still on their backs. They're still in trouble, but no, they do get back down. Gravity though, still trying to come with a good flip onto Whiplash, and again, another good flip, and again, another big, strong flip right there. But Whiplash coming in with another, and this is very back and forth. I'm not too sure who's on top here. And well, Virus, no. But now Gravity coming with another good strong flip, and again getting in onto Rhino, and Rhino coming with a great slam right here. Now both of these two machines will be in Series 2. Gravity, they qualified after eliminating Shadow Cat, although they haven't really been able to well get the same Uta magic they had. Oh, until that moment! Cease. Until that moment! I was saying they haven't gotten the same Uso magic they had in their first 2 fights, but now they have! And the streak is dead! The unbeaten streak that's been going on for months is dead. Wow! And the world champions Gravity have just sent Whiplash hurtling out the arena. The streak is dead. And Gravity are going through to the semi-finals in absolutely fantastic style. So it comes down to this. The World Championship semi-finalist. Minotaur from Brazil. Rapid from England. Endgame from New Zealand. And Gravity from the Netherlands. 4 machines, 4 different countries, 3 different continents. But at the end of this, only one will be crowned the Robot Wars Omega World Champion. And here is how they line up. Coming up later, Endgame will be taking on Gravity. But first, it will be the Brazilian Bull Minotaur taking on Rapid from England. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs for our first World Championship semi-final, we have the Purple Predator, Matilda, and the Grey Predator, Growler. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. So we have the reigning champions taking on, well, the underdogs it seems, and Minotaur already coming with some good hits in onto Rapid. I do hope we see Minotaur in Series 3. They won't be in Series 2, but Series 3, yes, hopefully they will try and apply for it. Rapid already being knocked up and over by Minotaur. Minotaur being flipped up and over by Rapid. Rapid certainly coming with some big hits right there, but Minotaur coming with his spinning drum and trying to cause some good damage to Rapid. Rapid, they're on their backs. Minotaur, though, bringing in that drum once again, trying to cause some more damage. And again, another big hit onto Rapid then. But Minotaur landing on top of Growler. But Minotaur coming with a big hit then. And again, another big hit. Rapid, though, bringing in that strong flipper and throwing Minotaur about. Minotaur, they are coming with that spinning drum. They eliminated Deathroll in very quick succession, but not as quick as the succession that Rapid got Diot or out, so they flipped over Growler. Great stuff. I don't think Rapid are going to let up here. They want to win another thing. They are the Series 1 champions. Can they be the world champions, perhaps? I wonder. Well, Minotaur coming in with that big spinning drum, and again, they are bringing in that big drum right there, Rapid. Certainly bringing in the flipper, and honestly, I'd say Rapid are probably the favourites to win this now. I can see Deathroll beating them. I don't see Minotaur beating them, though, for some reason. Growler, though. Growler now. Growler are gone. Well, thanks for coming, Growler. Matilda, going into the CPZs. Growler was in. Minotaur, bringing in that spinning drum, and now, oh, this is fast, frantic, frenetic stuff, and that's one of my favourite sayings to say whenever there's a really good fight. And Minotaur still coming in, lots of good damaging hits with that spinning drum weapon. Another big hit there, and Rapid, no, you're not going to go. Oh, they very nearly got another house move bot out the arena. They're seemingly trying to go for well, a clean sweep of the arena, it seems. Minotaur, though, now bringing in that drum once again, and this is brilliant. This is an incredibly good fight. This is probably one of the toughest fights Rapid's ever had. They fought Donald Fudd, but that was over in one flip. They fought Eruption, but that doesn't do damage. Minotaur, though, is a damaging machine, but they're still keeping all their armor up. They're still staying strong. Minotaur, they're coming in with a great push. They're coming in with a great push just then, and another big hit. And again, but Rapid now coming in with another good flip and very nearly getting Minotaur out of here. Minotaur, they've been ruining many people's brackets, but they won't ruin the person who wanted Rapid to win, let me tell you that. As they are out of the arena, and Rapid, well, Rapid, they made another grand final. But this isn't the Series 1, this is the World Championships, and they'll be flying the flag of England in the finals. Cease. Nice to see England do well in an international event for once. But either way, Rapid, very impressive performance there. Minotaur, they looked strong, they were causing lots of damage in the drum, but in the end, Rapid caught them with the flipper and sent the bull home. Well, they're going to be going back to Brazil, Minotaur, but I mean, you can't be disappointed for a performance like that. You've got to be proud. And, well, if any Brazilians are watching, I don't know if I have any Brazilian fans, you've got to be proud of that. But Rapid from England are going through to the finals. But who will meet Rapid in the grand finals? Well, will it be the vertical spinner of Endgame? Or will it be the Dutch flipper Gravity? Both machines have qualified for Series 2, but they're going to take each other on here in a classic flipper meet spinner fight. And the core patrol zone for the CPZs, we have Matilda, yet again, hoping to not get flipped out the arena, and Virus. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. No. Activate. Sorry about that, YouTube being fucking dumb again. And oh, Gravity already coming with a great flip onto Endgame, but Endgame doing a little stun that was just then. Like perfect 10 out of 10 marks for that Endgame. And again, another one doing another full backflip. And another one. Oh, but no, sorry. You won't be getting 10 out of 10 for that one. That was not a good landing. But already, and Gravity, they do seem to be finding the tactic, and I think Endgame aren't low enough. I don't think they're low enough for Gravity. I think Gravity has the lower ground clearance here. And they are coming with many good flips. And you can see the little gyroscopic wobble Endgame does every time it gets flipped. That's due to the force. The spinner is keeping them up in the air. But Gravity are still coming with many good flips. Endgame, no, they do self-right. They do self-right in 5-style. Hopping and bouncing around. Gravity coming with many good strong flips. Endgame, they are revving up their spinner though, and another great flip crashing straight into the wall. Gravity, they look very impressive thus far, I think. Endgame being flipped up and over, and another huge flip right there. Matilda bringing in her rear flywheel. Endgame self-righting, using the sunglasses self-righters. Gravity though coming with another good flip. Endgame revving up their spinning blades, and another huge flip from Gravity. This is a brilliant fight, one of the best fights of the tournament, I think, between these two machines. And oh, another perfect landing, and another one. Oh, but hopping and bouncing around. This is intense. This is very intense. Gravity throwing Endgame up and over, and another good flip, and Endgame are on their backs, and their sunglasses stream is not working. No, okay, phew. It does work from that angle. Gravity, though, flipping Endgame up and over. And will we have a flipper fight, or will we have another spinner meet flipper clash? Well, who knows? It really is going to come down to who wins. And at this rate, I think it's going to be Gravity who's going to win. Yes, it will. They eventually got Endgame with the flipper, and Endgame are out of here. Cease. While the world champions are still defending their trophy very well. Sending Endgame out the arena in quick succession like that, throwing them out. And I think Gravity and Rapid will have an excellent fight in the finals. Shame to see Endgame go. They were a very impressive machine, but it wasn't enough to take out Gravity. But before we get to our grand finals, which is bound to be an awesome fight, we have time for the third place payoff. Both Minotaur and Endgame have been very impressive throughout this tournament, but they both came a cropper to two very powerful flippers. But who will win when they both face each other? Well, let's find out. It is a BattleBots rematch, and it's bound to be an interesting one. And in the core patrol zone for the CPZs, well, overseeing the fight for bronze, we have Matilda and Virus yet again. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Oh, what a battle this should be between two very powerful vertical spinning machines. And already Minotaur coming over the big hits of their spinning drum right there, knocking Endgame up and over. Now Minotaur, they have beaten Deathroll at the start of the episode. So will they take out Endgame, who aren't as big of a spinner as Deathroll, but they do have the wedge, so maybe that will help. But currently right now, it seems to be Minotaur who's winning the clash of the spinners here. At the minute, anytime the spinners collide, it's Minotaur who's coming in with the big hits right here. And with Minotaur, they want third place more than anything else. I felt Minotaur were quite unlucky to beat Rapid, you know. I feel they could have beaten the Virus, you fucking idiot. Sorry for my language, but this is my channel, and if you have an issue with it, shut up. Minotaur still trying to cause some good damage with that spinning drum, and oh, another big hit right there. And oh no! Oh, they've done it! Oh! They ripped off Virus's head! And they're going after Virus yet again! Oh! Only viewers of Road Wars Omega Live will understand this! They sent Virus out the arena! Get in here, Matilda! Deal with Endgame now! This instant, girl! Oh, Endgame! They are the winners! They get third place, and I can't wait to see this machine of all robots in Series 2. We obviously Minotaur, they've been impressive. We won't be seeing them in Series 3. They didn't apply due to unknown reasons. I forgot them when doing the qualifier draws. But we will hopefully be seeing them try and qualify for Series 3. But for now, they have to settle for 4th place. And Endgame will settle for 3rd. And they'll bring the bronze home for New Zealand. Cease. Well, Endgame, that was very lucky, I think. Minotaur, they were dominating that fight, getting in many big hits with the drum, but in the end, Endgame caught them with the spinner and sent them out of here. Endgame, they get 3rd place. We started out with 32 machines, 6 different continents, 32 different countries, all fighting for the same prize. But over these 4 weeks, we've seen many machines crash out. We've had many surprises, many shocks, but now it all comes down to these 2 machines. From England, Rapid are the reigning Road Wars Omega champions, and they've certainly lived up to that here in the World Championship, throwing Red Bull all over the arena before doing the same to PB3D, even getting them out of here. They took out Diot in one of the quickest fights of the series before having a difficult fight with Minotaur, but they eventually got underneath in the flipper and chucked them out. They are flying the flag for England, and England has won many Robot Combat international events before. Can they win one in Road Wars Omega? Or will they come to a cropper and will come to a stop against the reigning world champions? Gravity from the Netherlands. This machine won a world championships off air, hence their world championship winning status, and they've certainly done a great job at defending their title, taking out the likes of Lucky and Chiefs 2 and even Whiplash, flipping them all out the arena in the exact same position. They had a tough fight with Endgame, but even getting them out as well. This machine has won all of its fights via getting it out of the arena, and they're hoping to get the 5th and final one to take out Rapids. Both machines are 2 very big good wedges, low to the ground. They're both from Europe, they're both successful, they're both former champions of something, and they're both 2 of the most powerful flippers. But today, only one will lift up the crown of world champion in Robot Wars Omega, in what is bound to be one hell of a showstopper. And in the corner patrol zone for the final fight of the tournament, we have Rhino with its ramming, lifting tusks, and Growler with its gnashing, biting jaws. Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate. Oh, what an awesome final this is going to be between these 2 incredibly strong flippers. And already it's Gravity who have had the upper hand, shocking Rapid all over the arena floor, and again coming with another great flip. Now Rapid, they are the reigning champions. They are the reigning champions. They have lost to big flippers before. That's been the only thing that's been able to stop them in the past, and Cobalt. But that does seem to be their main weakness, is a big flipper, which Gravity most definitely is. They've won every fight by getting it out of the arena, but Rapid have been a very dominant and impressive machine as well. Both machines have had very little trouble, and they've both had quite tough opponents. Like, Gravity ended the streak of Whiplash, might I remind you. Growler, though, coming with a huge slam right there, in, onto In onto Rapid, but Gravity flips over Growler. That was a very good flip just then. And well, yes, I'm struggling to keep my words here because this is incredible stuff. Well, they just flipped them onto Growler just then. Rhino now trying to come with its own great slam of its own, but they are stuck in the arena wall. Gravity trying to flip Rhino up and over. They don't want any house robots for this. They don't want any. They don't want any. They just want a good old-fashioned, no-holds-barred flipper fight to the death until one goes out the arena, or one lands in the pit, or one runs out of CO2, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, these machines want the World Championships more than each other, yet they don't at the same time. I'm not too sure how that works. Gravity, though, coming with another good flip right here. And currently, I'd say Gravity are the ones who are on top right here. You can see why they are world champions from the Netherlands, and they've got to win another one! And they are going to beat or stay as the world champions! As they've just beaten Rapid! With a great flip like that! Then not only did they beat the unbeaten Streak of Whiplash, not only did they beat the big scary spinner of Endgame, but they've just beaten Rapid as well! The reigning champions! And the World Championship Cup will go to the Netherlands! Cease. Wow! Well, Gravity, they certainly knew what they were doing, didn't they? And, well, they are the world champions. And what a final as well. Rapid. I had my money on Rapid. They were my favourites to win. But no. Gravity from the Netherlands, and it was a deserved victory as well, chucked Rapid all over the arena floor. They won the World Championships, and they had very little difficulty doing that too. Now, unfortunately, they won't be seeded for Series 2, but they will be in Series 2, and I can't wait to see this machine. And before we close off the World Championships, let's go over to the championship ceremony.